Hello and welcome. In the next few minutes, we're going to master 25 really powerful words from Word Smart's List 30. We're going to go way beyond just the definitions to help you use them with confidence, which is, super important if you're prepping for a big test. So, to make sure these words really stick, we're not just going to go down a list. Nope. We've grouped them into 5 logical themes. We'll start with words about people, then move on to situations in life, then truth and lies, words about doing things, and finally, words about rules. This way, you can build connections between the words, which makes them so much easier to remember. All right, first up, let's look at words that describe people's personalities. This is a fantastic place to start because, let's be honest, we can all think of someone who fits these descriptions, right? Okay, so staunch and steadfast. They both mean loyal, but there's a small difference. Staunch is usually about your belief in an idea or a cause. You could be a staunch supporter of a political party, for example. Steadfast, though, is more personal. It's about loyalty to a person or a promise. A steadfast friend is someone who's always got your back, no matter what. Now, the word solicitous describes a very specific type of caring. It's not just about being nice, it's being so attentive and eager to help that it can almost feel like someone is hovering. Think of a waiter who is constantly at your table, filling your water glass every 2 seconds. That very intense level of care, that's being solicitous. And here we have 2 completely different ways to handle life. A stoic person goes through hard times without showing any emotion. They could be in a lot of pain or feeling really sad, but on the outside, they look totally calm. And the complete opposite of that, sloth. Sloth is just extreme, epic laziness. It's not just being tired. It's a deep, deep unwillingness to do, anything. Okay. Moving on, let's explore some words that describe the conditions of life, the different situations we might find ourselves in, whether they're good or bad. Sordid and squalor both have to do with being dirty, but one is about morals and the other is physical. Sordid describes dirty actions, corruption, or scandals, like the sordid details of a crime. Squalor, on the other hand, describes dirty, filthy places, like the physical squalor of a rundown building. So, an easy way to remember, sordid actions, squalid places. Now here's a really sharp contrast. Being solvent is a good thing. It just means you have enough money to pay all your bills. You're not in debt. Strife, however, is the total opposite of peace. It's a state of really bitter conflict. You can have strife in a family or between 2 countries. Sobriety has 2 main meanings. The one you probably know is just not being drunk. But on a test, you're more likely to see the second meaning, a mood of seriousness and gravity. A kind of opposite to that feeling is soporific. It's an adjective that describes anything that is so boring it makes you want to fall asleep. Like a soporific lecture or a really, really long movie. Okay, this next category is a really important one, especially for standardized tests. These are words that help us tell the difference between what's real, what's a lie, and what's totally fake. Slander is a very specific word. It means you're telling lies about someone to hurt their reputation. Now, the most important thing to remember here is that slander is spoken. If you write those same lies down, like in a blog post or newspaper, that's called libel. Here's a little trick. S for slander, S for spoken. Now, this pair is a little tricky. A specious argument is one that sounds really good on the surface. It seems logical, it seems smart, but it's actually wrong. It's designed to trick you. Spurious, on the other hand, is much simpler. It just means fake. A spurious signature is a forgery. A spurious rumor is just not true. All right, let's switch gears and jump into some verbs, words about doing things, and in some cases, not doing things. Here are 4 fantastic verbs. To spawn something means to create a lot of it, like how a hit song can spawn many remixes. The opposite is to squander. That means to waste something valuable, like squandering your talent or your inheritance. If someone tries to stop you, they stymie you, they block your progress. And if they unfairly label you with shame, they stigmatize you. So static and stagnation both mean not moving, but the feeling behind them is totally different. Static is pretty neutral. It just means unchanging, like a static price. But stagnation is negative. A stagnant pond doesn't have moving water, so it starts to smell bad and get gross. In the same way, a stagnant career isn't growing, and that's a bad thing.
If something is sporadic, it happens every now and then, but with no real pattern. It's unpredictable. You might have sporadic bursts of creativity, or, like in the example, a sporadic Wi-Fi signal that keeps cutting in and out.
And for our final section, let's look at the big picture with some more abstract words that describe rules, systems, and how things are organized.
This is a really useful pair. Stringent is an adjective, and it means really, really strict. For instance, many countries have stringent laws about pollution. A stricture is a noun. It's one of those specific rules or limitations. So a stringent new policy might include several different strictures on what's allowed. To stipulate is to demand something as a condition of an agreement. A contract might stipulate that you get paid on a certain date. It's a required part of the deal. And a stratum is just a fancy word for a layer. We often use it to talk about layers in society, like the upper stratum or the middle stratum, but it can also be a physical layer, like a stratum of rock.
And there you have it, 25 new words in your toolkit. We've gone all the way from character traits like being stoic or steadfast to situations like squalor, all the way to the stringent rules that shape our lives.
But look, the real key here isn't just knowing what the words mean. It's being able to actually use them. The best way to make them stick forever is to practice. So here's a little challenge for you. Can you try to use 3 of these new words in a single sentence today? Give it a shot. Thanks for joining me.